Greetings, one and all, from the White Mountains of Arizona. It is a beautiful day today. Out for a hike. I got my long sword that Tara got me for my birthday. I'm very grateful. Beautiful. And it's channeling time. Great weather for channeling. So that's what we're going to do. Before we get into this, I would kindly appreciate it if everyone involved, including myself, can kind of check the ego a little bit. We're all going to have some passionate feelings about this one. A lot of us have made our choice, and we don't want to hear otherwise. But for today's channeling of the mRNA replication technology, we truly want to try to do our best to approach this from neutrality. I know I have my opinions on it, but I need to remember as I ask these questions that there is light and dark in all things. Tara and I have done some preliminary kind of tapping ins on this subject, and we see this as a poison, basically. Other people will disagree. That's fine. It's just a matter of perspective, but we see it as a poison. And I think back to when I first learned about sodium fluoride and its effect on the human body and in the spiritual centers. And man, people were very hesitant or resistant to hear that. No one wants to believe that they've been poisoned, that they've poisoned themselves, which is a higher vibrational way of looking at it. So there was a lot of resistance to me spreading my perspective on sodium fluoride. So I expect the same here today. And we're not trying to judge anyone, whether you got the jab, didn't get the jab. That's not really our concern. We just want to learn. We want to learn as much as we can about it. And hopefully you guys can make up your own decision based on the information that we get in this channeling. I don't know who Tara's going to channel. I told her before this is probably going to be a negative polarity, but we shall see. We shall see. Who knows? Here's Tara now, tapping into who knows what. We will find out together. So yeah, just keep an open mind and try to look at this without ego. Try to understand that we do have a perspective. I have a perspective since I'm asking the questions. And it might not be your perspective, but just try to keep an open mind and try to just gather information. That's what we're doing here today. Let me show you this bad boy. Oh yeah. I've been practicing the long sword. I'm getting better. But anyway, let's talk about who are you connected to today?
A group, they said, is the evolution of the tall grays.
So are we talking about the tall grays outside the cube?
They're no longer tall grays.
They vibrated. Sorry.
Some are here, some are not here.
Okay, so this is a collective of the grays far into our linear future, if they're still in the cube. Would that be accurate?
Yes.
So some of your collective are outside of the cube?
Yes, we call that version Siddha. And we are the utmost negative polarity version of the tall grays. But some of us, self-included, are those that chose to ascend, looking at pure light, understanding all, including our extreme polarity.
So those of you who ascended, fully aware of your darkness and fully aware of your light.
Yes, and choosing negative polarity in the process.
So you're fourth dimensional?
Right on the line, yes.
The line of 3D and 4D, or 4D and 5D?
3 and 4.
Okay. So we wish to know more about this mRNA replication technology. What role did you have in this development of this technology?
Although we may not have created this technology, we embraced the technology in all of its forms, wanting to move away from our soul, so to speak. What would it be like to fully embrace the technology, the matrix, the ego? What would that be like? So we are the embrace.
Okay, so when a 3D being allows this technology into their system, is it fair to say that it blocks the intuitive centers? It blocks the relationship to the higher self?
That is the function, yes.
Okay, so is it possible to ingest this technology and still maintain a connection to the higher self?
Yes, it is what you give your power to, reality. It is merely an external device, something to give your power away to. When choosing a polarity, you can choose your ego. You can choose negative polarity. You do not need a substance, but that is what many utilize.
So those who have embraced this technology, would it be fair to say that they've chosen to use their sovereignty to give away their sovereignty?
Yes,
So they wish to give away their sovereignty to technology so that they don't have to hear the noise of their higher self?
that is an interesting way to put it. Yes, just as there are those that wish to silence the ego, for they wish to clearly hear their soul, there are those that wish to clearly hear their ego and not be privy to the noises of the soul.
So those who have ingested this technology willingly, would it be fair to say that they're of the what I call the lower timeline from my perspective?
They would be embracing their darkness, embracing their negative polarity.
So that then are all the people who ingested this technology of the negative polarity or choosing the negative polarity in this lifetime?
They have not made a choice, but they are giving themselves this choice. If somebody willingly placed something inside their body and at a subconscious level, they know what this would create, giving their sovereignty away to it, they are wanting to give themselves a choice. What is it like to give myself away, my sovereignty away? What is it like to embrace the darkness? It is just merely giving yourself a choice. That is all. You don't have to take it if you don't want to. You don't have to allow it to do what it was designed to do if you don't want it to.
Have any sovereign beings who have chosen sovereignty also chosen to accept this technology?
Yes, there are many that wish to understand darkness and light. They found light within that darkness. That is why they took it. They are merely chasing lights. And in it, there was a lesson to learn. Sometimes, when one is blinded by their own light, they fail to see the darkness within it. And they are learning in this way.
Okay, for my chosen positive polarity, I see this as a poison because it restricts the voice of the higher self. So, would it be accurate to say that the light in this mRNA is that it can show our darkness to us in an extreme way?
Yes, and not all wish to have it shown in this way. It is merely a choice.
Is a free will violation occurring by way of, let's say, the shadow governments putting this technology into our food supply?
It depends on whose perspective you are looking through. If you look through purely light, the light not seeing any shadow within itself, it would say that it is being violated, that it would never choose any form of darkness in order to learn, that it would only choose light.
So this technology is being put into our food supply.
Yes, the darkness might say that there is no free will violation occurring because nothing could occur without there being some sort of vibrational match. So, if you are on some level a vibrational match for these items being placed within your food or within your medicines, whatever they may be, you're merely trying to understand perhaps the darkness and the light. You are giving yourself a choice, a broadened perspective.
Okay. So since we're not making our own food, and since we still commit the free will violation of killing plants and animals, is that why we're a vibrational match to having this technology in our food supply?
Yes, it is the vibration of not knowing one's wholeness, still seeking something outside the self to make it whole. It doesn't matter if it is food, or if you are seeking this in another person, or you are seeking this in an object. It is still placing things outside the self, and things outside the self can also be a beautiful mirror, something to teach you.
But if I were to grow my own food, is this mRNA technology being sprayed into our atmosphere, falling on our food and water and soil?
Yes, but again, you do not have to allow it to carry out its mission. That choice is up to you, just like those who decided to take it as a form of medicine and have it placed within their body by physical choice. They still do not have to allow it to do what it was created for.
So as long as we have ego that's tied to this cube, there's just no way of avoiding this technology from entering in our system, but we can set the intention that it doesn't affect us.
Yes, if you could look at it as not a thing that is attacking you or a form of attack, but why have I attacked myself? Give yourself this broader perspective. Try to understand what it might teach you. What are you trying to teach yourself? In this, it has no power, it is merely a lesson.
So, from the perspective of someone who injected it straight into their bloodstream, they want to learn the lesson of having no higher self in this incarnation on earth.
Yes, but they always have time to change their choice. They may feel for a time that it is wonderful to revel in the ego and in the negative polarity and in the darkness. But if at some point they choose something else, that is the beauty of your experience here.
So, even though it's coursing through their veins, if they change their minds, they can transmute it out of their system.
Yes, nothing is permanent unless you believe it to be.
Okay, so from the perspective of someone who didn't inject it into their veins but continues to eat food laden with this stuff, would the learning be that they want to see their higher self, but they also want to see why they poisoned themselves?
Yes, all a lesson, all learning. Perhaps this dependency on food and seeing it as a poison. Now it appears as though there is a poison within it, but only because you viewed food as a poison. So therefore, something was created in the 3D to make you see it even more as that it is a physical poison and not just the metaphorical poison, but still seeing something outside the self, that I am dependent on this substance in order for myself to live, that there is quite a cannibalistic nature about this world we live in. Or maybe it's not, but maybe I want to teach myself this lesson.
So from my perspective, I want to move fully into my higher self. But I also understand that eating food is committing free will violation. So I've allowed this technology into my food in order to teach me the lesson of why I'm poisoning myself.
Yes, your ego would have you feel bad. I feel bad for creating this free will violation. I feel bad that I still hunger for food. Therefore, in this feeling bad, I have created a physical poison for myself so that I continue to suffer within my body, that I feel ill within my stomach. But it doesn't have to be that way. But that is your choice.
Okay, for someone like me who understands that I'm poisoning myself, what is the best way for me to transmute this energy and have it not be a part of my reality anymore?
Just understand what it was trying to teach you. If you can understand the lesson fully, see it within your free will violation, see it in why you committed that violation in the first place, see it in all things, all aspects of your reality. Where have I created dependency, some sort of codependency? Perhaps I feel dependency on others. Perhaps I have this dependency on a particular type of feeling or mindset, or maybe it's one of the systems, perhaps a health system, a money system, a dental system, whatever the system may be. Maybe I'm trying to break away from these systems. Perhaps I see them as poisons, but maybe they weren't poisons, but lessons and teachers. And if I can see them as this, a teacher is not a poison, a lesson is not a poison. Therefore, I no longer need to poison myself.
Wow, fascinating. So what systems am I addicted to that have created this poison in my reality?
The ones that I have mentioned.
All of them. We're living off grid. We're moving away from all these systems. So is that why the poison isn't really affecting me that strongly?
Perhaps you don't need the lesson to be as strong, but it is not anything to do with moving away from society, so to speak, or moving out into the middle of the wilderness. It is merely a vibration, a type of sovereignty. In sovereignty, you find yourself to be whole. You are in search of wholeness. And this is why you find grief at this time, understanding that an aspect of you finds wholeness to be very lonely, while another aspect finds wholeness to be very fulfilling. And so you have a subtle poisoning.
Ah. What can be said for those who, I'm assuming, maybe I'm incorrect, but have developed cancers, reproductive issues as a result of this mRNA technology? What are they creating and why?
They are merely collating a more intense lesson. Perhaps it was not enough to place something within the body, but the body must revolt in some way. Perhaps they feel so disconnected from their soul, the other voice, that they need to jog themselves awake through the physical body. One pays no mind until the physical body begins to deteriorate and they feel that this is their only mode of transportation. And if my transportation begins to break down, perhaps it is time to listen to it.
I absolutely see your perspective, the higher perspective that we have asked ourselves to poison ourselves so that we could learn about ourselves. But when looking at this technology from a purely 3D perspective, it could not be argued that it's not poison, right? It's doing irreparable harm to a lot of people.
I would not argue anything different.
So what is the light side of this in 3D?
In 3D, the light side is being able to understand. Again, I said that there were some that were in extreme light, and it was the blinding of that light that had them choose to place this within their body. They felt that in this light, while also seeing things outside themselves, that I must do this for myself to help the whole, for that is the point of view of the light. I help myself, but I also want to help the whole, and my mission is helping the whole, whereas in the negative polarity, it is helping the self, and inadvertently, it ends up helping the whole. So in this very rigid mindset, I must help everyone. I don't wish to place harm upon anyone. So I will place this within my body because I want to help others. So blinded by this light, they did not see the true lesson within it, the darkness within it, their own negative polarity within it. And that would be the light and dark, but also those that chose not to take it, another form of light. They want to help others, so they decided to make themselves pariahs because they knew that it would help the whole if they were a icon, so to speak, or something that they could look up to, a different decision.
Almost like a control group so that they could see what it's like without this technology.
Yes, that is the light.
Whew, that first part was real dark. There's a lot of darkness in that light there. But they're in so much light that they can't see how dark they are.
Yes.
Wow, this has been fascinating. I really do respect and appreciate your higher level perspective that you've shared with us here today. I love you. You are love. I am love. So I thank you. Do you have any last message for the people before we go?
No, you have all made your decisions. It is now time to understand those decisions. That is all, and no decision is ever final, because life is not final. True life is not final.
Okie dokie. I tried to be as neutral as I could possibly be in my polarity. I think I did okay. What do you guys think?
Well, interesting. The being seemed super, super dark.
Yeah.
But it didn't seem evil.
Well, this is a being who understands its light as well as its dark. So it's chosen a polarity, which we have done, but it still sees the other side, which we're trying to do.
Yeah. So it seemed like it wanted to help. It was like, just through its perspective, but, it's just through the eyes of a extreme negative polarity, I suppose. But yeah, I thought it was, well, I guess it's not shocking. It's something I guess we already know. We can transmute anything, but just trying to understand why we would poison ourselves. But I guess we did it so that we could see we still have a dependency on things. We just see that thing as like bad. I have to punish myself. And so I created a poison in a form of like punishment because I feel bad. Yeah. Something like that.
Well, I think it's different for everyone. We all had different motives, but maybe for you, that's the case.
Yeah, I don't know. That was just how I interpreted it. Yeah. Interesting. I don't remember all of it, but I remember that part.
Okay. A lot to discuss. We don't want anyone to feel discouraged because of this channeling. Like I said at the intro, this is just information. Take it how you will. And like I said at the intro and the entity repeated, like we've all made our choice already. It's time to just learn from it. You're not going to learn from it by shying away from the difficult aspects, both in the light and the dark. Yeah. It was difficult for the light to say, I rejected this technology, but I still allowed it in somehow.
Mhm.
And it's difficult for the dark to say, you know, I accepted this technology, but maybe it was a mistake.
Yeah.
So I think there's
Yeah.
light and dark in it all.
I think, yeah. Yeah, let us know what you guys thought of it, because obviously that's just one being's perspective.
Yeah.
You know, any being that we contact is probably gonna have a different perspective. So that's why it's important for you guys to go inwards and, you know, instead of just taking everything at face value of like what somebody else said or what something else said, it's like, what did your higher self say? Because ultimately this whole world is your creation. So ask yourself.
Yeah, enough of this heaviness. Give the people what they want to see.
A broadsword.
They want to see this long sword swing around.
Oh yeah, this long sword.
But yeah, we thank you guys for tuning in every week, every Monday. We do appreciate it. We thank all the Patreon, the YouTube members.
Yes.
We got to see their
thank you
mermaid
guys,
channeling.
for your support. Yeah, the mermaid channeling. Woo!
And
That was
then,
a doozy.
We thank everyone who's got a one-on-one private channeling with us. We appreciate that, and we've enjoyed doing that. And all the info's in the description and at the little bar that she puts at the bottom. It's probably going in right now.
Check out my little ticker.
Yeah.
Yeah, check out the website. Check all the goodies. Don't forget to check out James's shop. He has some amazing hand-picked crystals. Yeah, and you know what? This sword maybe is like light and dark. You know, it's like the sword of light, but also...
Well, yeah. I mean, you could
like
protect
darkness.
with it and you can destroy with it. That's
Yeah.
the choice of the wielder or the welder.
All right.
All right.
So we will catch you guys next time. Keep those comments coming. Let's have a discussion.
Yes.
All right. Catch you later.
Bye.
Bye.